Happy Monday, everyone. Kristen Maka with Medicare with Maka, Futurity First Insurance, and ConnectOMA. Back again, we have with us Tony Porter from APD Locksmith. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome. So once again, if you didn't catch last week's video, I will link it in the description below. We know that Tony is veteran owner of APD Locksmith. So tell us a little bit about the area that you service, where you're located.
Okay, so we're in Bellevue. We're on 36th and 370, just off of Samson Way. We are right next to Offutt Air Force Base, so we of course service the military.
Mm-hmm.
We also are closest to Plattsmouth, Beaver Lake. We go out to Ralston, Omaha. We pretty much service the whole metro area. But most of our customers are right here located in Bellevue.
Okay, good. So just a little bit about, we touched on a couple of things that you do. So you do a little bit in safe, a little bit or a lot more in car and house.
Okay.
So why don't we dive into the car thing? So as far as how you help people with cars and being locked out of their cars or anything to do with that.
Sure. So we get a lot of customers that give us a call and they're locked out of their car.
Mm-hmm.
And so we come up to them and we come out and see them. And a lot of times I start off with, the reason we're here is because you don't have an extra key. They go, no, I've got one, but unfortunately it's on the keychain. I go, no, not that kind of key. So what we recommend for customers to do is to get a straight metal copy of their key, one that won't start their car, but rather just open the door. And
Okay.
so we tell them to put it in a certain location so that they're able to access it without actually having to call us sometimes. We like to save people the effort and money when we have the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Emergencies, we can certainly come out and help you, but if you're better prepared, then we can help you out with
Help
that.
prevent those, emergencies. So try to have people stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Be prepared for the worst.
Yeah. One of the other services that we offer also is if you have anybody that is a child that is locked inside of their vehicle, we make that a 911 priority. We come out right away. We don't charge anything for that. We want to make sure that the parent and the child gets together as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And we just, if you have anybody that does have that has a child in the area, make sure that they take down our phone number so that we can make sure they come out there.
Okay, perfect. So just a little bit more on what are some of the more common things, obviously, besides being locked out of your car. Is there anything else as far as your car key, that people should just be a little bit more aware of to try to stay on top, to try to prevent those emergency situations from happening? I know we've kind of talked before about the plastic in the keys breaking off. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different keys. One of them is what we call a remote head key. And so the remote head keys basically are ones that have the plastic with their buttons and then the metal parts connected. One of the problems is there's a design flaw, so that when the customer puts that key inside, if they don't put it in 100% of the way when they turn, they have the potential of fracturing that key and eventually having one that's got plastic in one hand, metal in the other hand. So if you're careful and you do it 100% of the way all the time, you should be okay. But human nature does kick in. And so when that does happen to you, if you find yourself where you've got your key wrapped up with tape or any other means, we've seen it all.
Mickey Mousing things.
Yes, we call it Frankensteining. But yeah, if you find yourself in a situation like that, come see us. We've actually got what we call an upgrade. It's about $20 more than what you would pay for if we just replaced that other one. But the design is a lot better. It's a great deal sturdier, and I think you'll actually be happier walking out the door.
Perfect. So then as far as, I know all different kinds of keys cost a little bit different, but just kind of giving people a range of, what the price would be on something like that.
Sure. So there's a difference between what's called a chip key and a VAT key. A VAT key basically is one where it's old school. You put the key inside there, inside the ignition, and there's actually a transmitter on there. And it is what a lot of people consider to be a chip key. And they look at it and they go, well, mine doesn't have that funny black mark on there, so mine's not a chip key. But a chip key is one that is designated to your specific vehicle. Those can be about $155 for a sit-cut-in program. Then you have those styles where we talked about before with the remote head keys. Those go for about $210, and then the switchblade style, which we recommend over the remote head, is about $230.
Okay. And as far as then pricing compared to if somebody were getting to this situation and go to the dealer?
Yes. We're definitely going to be the ones that you want to call, because we're going to be a lot lower than what you're going to get from the dealership. Also,
how much would they normally charge for something like that? Approximate.
It can be anywhere between $300 to $500. And you also have to take into consideration that you're going to have to take your vehicle to them versus us having the mobile capability to come directly to you. And so, yeah, you don't have to worry about having your vehicle towed and then letting it sit there waiting for them to get it taken care of. So we'll come out to you, and when I leave, you can leave.
Save quite a bit of money on everything.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
One of the other things that I tell people to do is to take a picture of their key. The key is basically spaces and depths. And what we can do, if we know the exact year, make, and model, we can actually cut that key based off of what we see on the photo. We can actually figure out the spaces and depths, and then I can have that key cut. And by the time I get to you, it's already ready to go. One of the other things is we have a lot of customers that when they have ignition problems, they think that their ignition is actually going bad. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that the key is actually wearing down. So when a customer calls us and they say, hey, can you switch out my ignition? We do, and we can, but we can save them a great deal of money if we just try the key first. And like I said, 9 times out of 10.
So what would they be seeing then in those instances?
So they put their key in and they actually have to wiggle it up and down. And what they're doing is they're making the wafers that are in the inside, they're making it go to the correct height and depth so that it can actually turn. But they'll find that they'll think that their ignition needs to be switched because they're having issues with their key. But when they look at their key, there's going to be wear or tear on it. You might actually see some discoloration and just some markings. And if you have a key that's bent, come see us, before you put that key in the ignition, because the last thing you want to do. Yeah.
That would be a bad situation.
That's a bad situation.
Yeah. All right. Well, day 2 is now finished. Thanks again, Tony, for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.